the extraordinary belongs to those that create it. No one's going to hand you an extraordinary life. They didn't come round to my school saying, would you like an extraordinary life? Did they come to your school?
No.
Turn to the person next to you and say, did they come to your school? They don't hand out extraordinary lives. You have to build it. So if that's true, then we have to ask how? How do we build an extraordinary life?
Whoa, Alan. Before we get on to how, what even is an extraordinary life? And how do I know if I've got one?
Well, let's have a look at this through my favorite topic in the world, breakfast. Carl, what's your favorite breakfast?
Scrambled eggs.
Scrambled eggs. I love it. I was not expecting that answer. And if you asked every single person in this room, they would have a different answer for what their version of an extraordinary breakfast is, because we are all different. Every single person here is different. And what's really fascinating is the word extraordinary means something different to every person on the planet.
So are you saying there are 8 billion perfect breakfasts out there?
Yes, and I've been trying to eat them all.
So to us, extraordinary means living life on your terms. Doing life how you want to do it, not being dictated by someone else, by your family, by society, by whoever. So what's our version of extraordinary? We love to travel, we love to go to sporting events, we love theme parks. We're going to Disney World next, I'm excited. We love hiking in nature, we love helping people with their finances. Alan loves Lego, I love doing jigsaw puzzles. That's our version. What's your version? What do you want? And in the past, when people ask me what I want, I always assumed it had to be something I didn't already have. Like, what do you want implies it's something outside of yourself. And then it dawned on me, I'm allowed to want what I already have. There'll be elements of your life that are already extraordinary. You're allowed to want the house that you live in. You're allowed to want the friends you surround yourself with. You're allowed to want the job you have. Yes, you are allowed to like your job. You're even allowed to want the partner you already have. Love you.
Thanks. In a lot of ways, you've already won the lottery. You have the resources to come to a conference like this. You have the space and the time. In a lot of ways, your lives are already incredible.
So as we go through this, please don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. There are elements of your life that are already extraordinary. Let's build on those together.
Now, in general in life, there are 2 forms of motivation. There is away from motivation, which is the stick in the carrot and stick analogy. You're moving away from a job you don't like. You're moving away from pain. You're moving away from something that's going wrong. Or there is towards motivation. You're moving towards the carrots. The dream holiday, the version of this, the promotion, the thing you want to do. You're moving towards something. Those are the 2 main forms of motivation. What do you think powers the FIRE movement? Do you think it's powered by away from motivation? That's the interactive bit where you stick up your hand if you think it's away, okay?
Okay, who says towards?
Interesting. I think the FIRE movement is powered on away from motivation. And classic example, my friend Carl had a moment at work where he had a terrible day and he Googled, how do I retire early? And I heard that story again last night in the round tables. And lots of people are moving towards retirement or the next phase, but they don't actually know what that means. And they're more likely to be running away from something than towards something. Now, the fascinating bit is what happens when you get to retirement. They've done a lot of studies on the transition from work to retirement, and one of the fascinating pieces is you have an increased chance of death upon retirement. Your chance of death goes up by 2%. You might be thinking that's not a lot, but I don't know about you. If I've worked really hard to get to retirement, I've saved all this money and I have a better chance of dying, that doesn't sound that appealing. And why even is that?
So you're more likely to die, and you are also more likely to be depressed. 1 in every 3 retired people has depression, and that's way more than the general population.
This is not as exciting, is it? So the transition from work to whatever comes next is the key bit. And actually, the basis of it, they found, is your motivation for said transition. If you're transitioning away from work towards a new career and being a carer, a new role in life, you actually know what you're going to, the transition can be quick, easy. You're actually excited about the next phase.
Whereas if you're transitioning away from something, away from a job you don't like, away from a boss that you hate, that transition can be painful. We've seen it leads to increased chance of death, increased chance of depression, loss of identity, like painful and can last many years.
So if you're saying, I want to get to retirement, but you don't know what that means, you're transitioning away from. So there is something important to learn here. I think you'd all like a lower chance of death. Am I correct there?
When I quit my job, I thought I would wake up the next day, I would be blissfully happy. I would have 0 problems, and there'd be some kind of 24-hour wall-to-wall orgasm situation going on. Let me tell you, that did not happen. If anything, my life got a little bit worse. I had all this time to spend with myself. I had used work as a distraction for working on myself. There were things I didn't like about the way I behaved, the way I thought, the way I acted. So my life got a little bit worse in retirement. And as we all know, but it still came as a shock to me, being FI will not make you happy. Being lean FI won't make you happy. Being fat FI won't make you happy. Being obese FI will not make you happy. No matter how big the number, it will not make you happy. Compose yourself.
So the question is, are you moving away from something, or are you moving towards a bright future? Because you might not think it, but the motivation behind it is the critical difference.
Let me tell you something else that I did. I used to stress so much when I was at work. So therefore, the next day, when I woke up with the orgasm thing, I thought that I would have 0 stress in my life. I went to help Alan out in his business, and I noticed people weren't stressed. And I went from person to person. It was almost like, can I take some of your stress for you? Can I give you some of mine? Like, why aren't you stressed? Job equals stress. Then I realized it wasn't my job that was stressful. It was me being a stressy person about my job. So if you stress at work, you will find a way to stress without work.
And let me tell you, travel will not fix the problem. You're all thinking, I'm going to go traveling afterwards. That'll fix the problem. If you were a stressed person at home, you will be a stressed person on a beach with a margarita. That's just a fact. Anywhere you go, there you will be. And believe me, we've tried. We've been to 43 countries. Our problems have followed us. That's just how it is.
So the point of retirement is to improve your life, to be happy. We've kind of painted a picture of increased death, depression, and no orgasms. What's going on here, Alan?
We imagine financial independence to be riding unicorns and money everywhere and this incredible experience. But the reality is, you're sat on the same couch with the same problems. And that is the reason why people go back to work. That is the reason, because people go, well, this is rubbish, isn't it? This is terrible. Let me go back to work. I worked all this way to get here. This is rubbish. That's why we see these articles in the financial independence world that says, FIRE doesn't work. Financial independence doesn't work. There's another one, the samurai of whatever it is, goes back to work because he can't be happy in retirement. We see all these articles that says the FIRE movement doesn't work, and it's just not true. FIRE gives you the keys to freedom, but it does not teach you how to use your freedom when you get there. And you can't blame financial independence for a lack of your happiness. But we always like to blame things other than ourselves.
So how do we overcome this, Alan? Because again, it sounds quite doom and gloom.
Well, it's simple. We need a version of extraordinary that we move towards. We need a future that's bright, that we're excited about, that actually has some clarity and some detail that we move towards.
But people kind of don't know what they want because we've almost been told what we should want from work, from society, from friends, from family. And people have almost this kind of corporate PTSD against the word goals. I don't want goals. And I had that as well. I was like, I want this complete freedom. I don't want anything to do. I want to be able to do what I want, when I want, whenever I want, with who I want. Don't you tell me what to do. And it was almost like I wanted an empty to-do list. So the things that I had on my list, I would stress through doing. Let me stress to the end to get to the end. Then I had nothing on my list, and I was still stressed. I was stressed I didn't have anything to do. I was like, what do I do now? There's nothing to do. So an empty to-do list will not make you happy. I have tried, it doesn't work.
I was running a workshop for a bunch of FI people, and it was about goal setting, and right in the middle, this lady stopped it, and she almost shouted at me, I don't want a goal. I just want a new dining room table and dinner with my kids every night. I'm sure you've just had the thought that I had, a new dining room table is a goal. But she was comparing her goal with other goals and going, it's not worthy. But I'll tell you what, to me, dinner with your family every night where you actually talk to each other is extraordinary. How many families just sit watching the television with an iPad and an iPhone at the same time with no conversation? Stop judging what your version of extraordinary is and just go for it.
People also think that having a goal means there's something missing in their lives. It's like, well, obviously my life isn't great because there's something else that I want. That's not true either. You can have an awesome life now and be working towards something else. You are allowed to have both.
You don't have a goal to achieve it. You have a goal to give yourself direction. Because if you actually achieve it, well, you need a new goal to give yourself direction. So why not just slow down and enjoy the process of doing it? The goal is there to give you direction.
So I don't care what your goal is. If you want to travel around South America and sit on every beach, if you want to change the world in some way, if you want a new dining room table, I don't care what it is. If it lights you up, please do it.
It doesn't matter what the goal is. So let's have a look at the actual steps to creating an extraordinary life, the steps to creating extraordinary. The first thing is you need something to aim towards. You need your version of extraordinary.
Then visualize it daily and take action towards it.
And if it doesn't work, that's great. Notice that, change your strategy and keep going. And then the key piece.
Please do not wait to the end to be happy.
That's the mistake so many people make with this.
And if the steps are that simple, I'm not saying it easy, but if it's that simple, why doesn't everyone do it?
Well, let's take another process that you might be aware of, the steps to financial independence.
Firstly, define your goal. What are you moving towards? How much money do you need?
Reduce your spending. Increase your income.
Buy a shed load of VTSAX.
Take action every day, and then the key point that we hope the FIRE community has learnt.
Do not wait till the end to be happy. And again, if the steps are that simple, not easy, but that simple, why doesn't everyone do it?
Do you know anyone who resists working on their financial independence?
Perhaps you know them intimately?
Maybe they're at home thinking you've joined a cult. But it's the same things that stop us. It doesn't matter whether it's creating extraordinary, getting to FI, it doesn't matter what it is. The same things stop us, and it's our thoughts, it's our way of thinking, it's our mindset. We think, oh, what if it doesn't work?
What if it does work?
Like, numbers confuse me.
I'm really bad with money.
Like, I don't deserve it. I don't deserve this.
I just don't know what to do.
It's not possible for me.
We couldn't do that, could we?
It's the same thing. And it's interesting because the how, the process, it's not easy, but it's simple. We can follow it. But it's the mindset that gets in the way. And 80% of everything you do is the way you think about it, not the thing itself. The way we think is what causes us the problems, not investing in an index fund or a 401k. They just are what they are.
And we want to scream at people, what's stopping you? And we saw this post in the Choose FI Facebook group. This person said, I have $4 million invested. So at a 4% withdrawal rate, that gives me $160,000 a year.
He said, I spend 120 grand a year. He didn't say this next bit, that's what I thought. You are fat fi then. You have 40 grand a year, more than you could ever need. You are fat fi.
He said, I'm 50, I really want to retire, I don't like my job, but I'm scared of running out of money.
So he asked an honest question. He said, should I retire or should I go back to work for another 5 years for 800 grand more? And I wanted to scream at them. I wanted to scream at everyone in the FIRE community. What are you doing? The choice you're making. Would you rather have 5 years of your life to do things with the people you love, to create incredible experiences, to travel, to do anything? Or do you want to go back to a job you don't like for 800 grand you don't need?
So this person is asking, what if I run out of money? But the more important question, which comes from our good friend, Mr. 1500, what if you run out of life?
Most of us have less life than we have money. It's quite interesting. And even if you're early on the path, believe me, this will happen to you as well. You will end up with more money than you know what to do with if you just keep following the principles. The problem is people don't know what to do with their lives. They're like, I get to retirement, then what do I do? Where do I go? What do I do? What happens? And they've got some initial goals. I'm going to garden more. I'm going to read a few books. I'll learn new languages. But let me tell you, if you're not doing that now, you won't do it in retirement. It just won't happen.
So how do we get past this, Alan? I'm on to the how. Let's do how.
How? Okay, well, it's simple. Your mission is to come up with your version of extraordinary and move towards it. That's it.
Yes. How?
Okay, so here's the key bit. People think they're going to go out there and find their purpose. They think they're going to go out into the world and find their purpose. Let's say they go traveling to Thailand, they buy some elephant pants, they sit cross-legged and they think. And it's almost, this is a really uncomfortable position to present in. It's almost as if they're waiting for the heavens to part, the sun to shine down, the doves to go apart, the choir to sing. And their purpose will have come to them. They know what to do with their life. Thank you, choir. That's not how it works. That's just not how it works. You uncover your purpose by starting in action, by doing things. And if you take action, you will find it within that. It doesn't come to you, you make it up. This is why we have the power of the mini experiment, trying things.
It's a low or no cost test of an idea, and here's how it works. You choose an idea.
Then once you've chosen an idea, occasionally my mouth doesn't work. Once you've chosen an idea, you then do a simple test of said idea.
Then you evaluate it. Did you enjoy it?
If you enjoyed it, do more. Until you don't. You are allowed to change your mind and do something else. If you didn't enjoy it, well, go back to the beginning and pick another idea that you want to test. The quicker you go through this process, the more likely you are to actually find something you really want to do.
But people try and jump to the end goal, the grand vision, and it just doesn't work. It's all about doing that simplest possible test, and we'll give you some examples.
So, the simple possible tests. First example, people say, when I retire, I want to sail around the world. They're going to sell their house, buy a boat, and sail around the world. Please don't sell your house. Just volunteer on a boat for a day. They don't even know if they like it.
Maybe you want to start a podcaster. Any podcasters in the room?
There's a few here.
Why not help someone produce an existing one? See if you like it first. I'm sure they would appreciate your help.
Maybe you want to become nomadic. Don't do what we do and sell everything and go on the road. Like, do a test first. Book an adventure for a month. See if you actually like it. That's what you've got to do.
Maybe you want to write a book, but you've never written before. You don't know if you're going to enjoy it. Why not write a guest blog post for someone?
Maybe you're like, I want to launch a restaurant in retirement. Please do not liquidate all of your VTSAX and buy a restaurant. Has the highest chance of failing. Do a test. Go work for a restaurant. Create a pop-up version in your house. Sell food somewhere. Do an experiment to see if you actually enjoy it and test it.
Maybe you want to be a financial coach. Again, try it out for a day. Volunteer or shadow someone that's already doing it. See if you enjoy the day-to-day things of what are involved with that.
But people always say to me, Alan, that's great, but what if I don't have fun? What if I don't have fun?
You should celebrate. You've just found something you didn't enjoy, and you found it quickly and cheaply, and you can move on to the next idea.
The answer is not in your notebook. You put your notebook down now. It is not in there. It's out there in the world. It's in the world. So how do you come up with ideas? We don't have time to do that today, so we created a goal-setting workshop for you that we'll put a link at the end, because Diana wouldn't give me 2 weeks to present to you. What we really want, your mission, is to commit to 3 mini experiments. I don't care what it is, but by the end of the weekend, commit to doing 3 mini experiments. Maybe speak to the person next to you about them. Tell the people around you what you are actually committing to. I want you to try stuff, because the extraordinary belongs to those that create it.
No one's going to hand you your dream life. You must build it brick by brick.
So, the extraordinary belongs to you if you are willing to take action and do it. So why are you still here? I don't understand. Leave now.
Alan.
Take action. Go.
Alan, I don't think Diana's going to be that pleased. It's only the start of the weekend and you're sending everyone away. I probably shouldn't say that.
We're the first speakers. Wait until Sunday night. Then leave. Take action. Extraordinary doesn't happen by chance. Build it for yourself. Thank you.